welcome to FRTV. We're here at the LNER Community Stadium in York for this Betfred Championship Round 16 clash between York City Knights and Featherstone Rovers. Rovers coming off a big win last time up against London, looking to extend their lead at the top of the championship table to 8 points, whilst York looking to get back to winning ways after exiting the cup at the hands of Lee Leopards last week. We're in a lovely stadium this afternoon. The conditions are perfect, and we'll start with some team news from head coach Sean Long. Sean Long, we're just less than an hour away from kick-off against York City Knights. Team news is in. Can you tell us about the changes you made this afternoon?
Yeah, we brought Junior Moores in. He's been training really hard behind the scenes, working hard. We're going to rotate their middles. They've had a lot of games, so resting a couple of middles, which is Smith. Brought Junior in. Josh Hardcastle comes in for Adze, just to cover the back row and centre with Joey. So tactical, but rotating the squad as prepared.
And just on the luxury of a coach, you having to make so few changes at this point in the season when players are ultimately picking up injuries, that must be a nice luxury to have. It's
tough. It's a tough challenge. You know what I mean? You don't want to leave players out, but I said all along that I was going to rotate the squad. So we're not fatigued going into the back end of the season.
And just a quick word on the opposition. Obviously they went down in defeat, but very competitive against Lee last week. What are you expecting from York this afternoon?
Oh, very tough game. Well, we played them twice already. We played for the full 80 minutes. Let's throw the ball around. We've got some quality players in Ghana and Kumatai. It's going to be on our guard there. We're not expecting we need a full 80-minute performance today.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the LNER Community Stadium in York, where we're here to bring you live uninterrupted commentary of this Betfred Championship Round 16 clash between the York City Knights and Featherstone Rovers. We're a few minutes away from kick-off here. We'll get straight into the team news before the two sides come out onto the field. We'll start with York, who make 3 changes to the side that lost to Lee last time out, with John Luke Kirby, Jack Teenby and Regan Sumner dropping out of the side. In their place comes Ollie Pratt, Brendan Santee and Jordan Thompson. So the York City Knights line up like this. Joe Brown is the fullback with a 3-quarter line of AJ Taus, Miles Harrison, Ollie Pratt and Brad Ward. Ata Higano partners Josh Daly in the halves. Ukumatai, Will Jubb, Brendan Santee up front, with Ollie Field, Chris Clarkson and James Cunningham rounding off the starting side. On the bench for York, Connor Fitzsimons, Jordan Thompson, Ronan Michael and Adam Jones. Rovers, they make just 2 changes to the side that comfortably beat London last time out, with Junior Moores and Josh Hardcastle recalled to the side in the place of Daniel Smith and Arama Howe. The line-up like this, the Rovers. Mark Corrala is the fullback, the 3-quarter line of Luke Briscoe, Joey Leilua, Chris Hankinson and Gareth Gale. Caleb Aitkins partners Thomas Lacans in the halves once again. Gadwin Springer, Matty Wilde and James Lockwood up front. Brad Day, Jack Bussey and Junior Moores round up the starting 13. On the bench for Rovers, Connor Jones, John Davis, Josh Hardcastle and Mackenzie Yeh. Matteo Cozza is the 18th man. And the stage is set. The two teams are out on the field. And it was what is set to be a fantastic clash. The conditions are absolutely perfect, albeit possibly a little bit warm this afternoon, touching 30 degrees here in York. James Vella is the man in the middle, the referee for this one. And Featherstone come into the game full of confidence after putting 50 points on London last time out at home, and have already beaten York twice so far this season. We'll be looking to make it the perfect 3 from the 3, as they also look to maintain 6 points and possibly, if results go their way, an 8-point lead at the top of the Betfred Championship. So we're just moments away from kick-off here. Featherstone in their alternate navy and red strip. York, of course, in their traditional black and yellow strip. Featherstone will receive possession first in this game. They'll be attacking from right to left as we see it, as the game is underway, and pouched safely by Corrala, given on to Springer, who'll take the first carry of the game. He's brought down in the tackle of Clarkson as the primary defender, up to the 20. Wilde, short side play straight into the action here. Featherstone come up and over that 30-metre line. Hankinson, the man, plays the ball. Lockwood now. No nonsense carry straight through the middle. Little bit of space on offering for the Rovers captain. He's brought down by Cunningham on the halfway line. Good yards already for Featherstone as the ball comes out the back into the arms eventually of Day, who's met front on, and a strong challenge there from Hingano. Tie over the top, 5 metres in to York territory come Featherstone now. Moores, no nonsense carry back in the side this afternoon, will play. Good enterprising opening set as Lacans puts the ball high in the air, looking to test out Taus, who takes it comfortably And crabs across field looking for some space and eventually met up with the tackle of Matty Wilde. A good strong line of defence to chase, so a strong opening set from Rovers, who have York pinned on their own 5 metre line. The ball comes out here. York still within their own 10, not much space in the offering for Pratt. Here come York now up towards the 20 metre line. It's Harrison again. Jubb feeds it on. The ball comes out now to Harrison. Plays it just shy of the 30. Jubb at acting half. Dummy and go from Cunningham. Up and over that 30 metre line now. So Rovers doing a good job to restrict York's go forward in this opening set, as Hingano will kick on the last. Puts it down the middle, down the edge rather, and picked up on the full by Luke Briscoe. Has a little bit of room to move now and returns it with interest. So Featherstone getting the better of the opening couple of sets here. They will start their set just shy of the 40 metre line. Leilua into the action, straight through the middle of the ruck. Bounces away from 1-2, can't get away from Jubb in the end. Cunningham was over the top with Clarkson. Corella acting half, gives it to Gale, coming in for an early carry through the middle of the ruck. He's brought to ground by Santi. Ball comes out now. Aitkins gives it on to Lockwood. In fact, that's Brad Day, beg your pardon. Plays it. Featherstone 30 metres away from the York line now. Inside ball for Lockwood. And he's wrapped up eventually by Tyne. He's lost the ball in the tackle there. So just getting the finer details wrong there, James Lockwood. It was a nice inside ball from Junior Moores. Put him into a little bit of a half gap. And the York man coming over the top. In his haste to play the ball, Lockwood just spilling possession. And the first error of the game goes against Featherstone, as we've had 3 minutes of the game gone here. York City Knights 0, Featherstone Rovers 0. But plenty to like about what Rovers have produced in the opening couple of minutes here. Very physical. York a challenge to get away from their own end once again here. Have the scrum feed 20 metres out centre field. Scrum will be fed by Daly. The ball eventually making its way out to Taus now. Makes good yards after contact. A trio of Featherstone defenders to bring him down in the end. Slow play of the ball. And now Featherstone caught offside there. Far too quick off the mark. And that'll be a relieving penalty for York, and the first time in the game that York will have possession in their opponent's half. Hingano is the man who will have the kick to touch on that far side. And York will set up shop 40 metres away from the Rovers line here, as Jubb will take the tap, gives it to Hingano now, and on to Santi. Santi just crashes into the Featherstone defence. Lockwood there to wrap him up with Moores. He'll play the ball on the 40. York's Featherstone side of halfway. Jubb comes out to Ty now, who takes it into the teeth of the Rovers defence. Springer came again to bring him down. 25 metres away from the line now, York. They come forward through Cunningham. Out the back to Hingano. Drops off his man. A short pass there for Brown. And Brown is wrapped up well. Alert to the danger. It was Brad Day. 15 metres away from the line, centre field. Options left and right for York. Hingano takes it left into the line. The pass tried to get the ball away there, Ollie Field, but he was wrapped up well by Luke Briscoe. Came off the wing. And I believe that will be a knock-on and a turnover against York. And first inspection of Sean Long's men's defence. They come up trumps and repel the threat. They will have to play the ball here. It was the last tackle, so it will play the ball on the 10 as Leilua tries to get them going forward here and just bullocks his way up to the 20 metre line. Jubb, primary tackler there. Here comes Hankinson off the back fence. Good carry from the Featherstone outside back up to the 30 metre line, and a quick play of the ball there for Wilde onto Springer. Springer up and over the advantage line just short of the 40. Wilde straight onto Lockwood now. Lockwood is making a good tackle from Santi, but rides the challenge and wrestles a couple more metres forward. Featherstone will be on the last here on the halfway line. Wilde kicks from dummy half straight down the middle of the field between the fullback and winger, and the ball just kicks on and goes over the dead ball line. So fine margins with those kicks. The ball just going a couple of metres too long over the dead ball line. It'll be a 7 tackle set and a 20 metre tap to York, as we have 5 minutes of the game gone here. It's still York City Knights 0, Featherstone Rovers 0. Listening on FRTV as York come forward here. Brown just off the tap. Makes 5 or 6 metres. Hingano is at dummy half. Come wide now. To Ward, coming in for a carry off his wing. He'll play it just short of the 40. Ty now stutters, steps and bumps away from Wildy. Aikins comes in to help him out, and York are up to the halfway line, middle of the tackle count. They come short side now. Daly drops off Clarkson. Clarkson will play the ball 10 metres into Featherstone territory now. Still tackles in the bank for York. Ty onto Santi. Santi tries to step around Springer, who comes again and with help from Lockwood wraps him up, but he gets the offload away into the arms of Daly. Daly picks up 10, 15 more metres, bouncing out, tackles Daly, and eventually goes down and is swallowed whole there by Junior Moores. But Featherstone backpedaling defensively here. York 20 metres out. Short side play. Hingano. Long pass out wide. The ball is into the arms of AJ Taus, who's trying to cut back in field. There's good hands from York, but desperate defence from Featherstone brings him down. Bussey there to close the door inside. This will be the last one. 5 metres from the line. Hingano hoists the kick out wide here. Looking for Pratt, but Hankinson takes it brilliantly above his head and makes the best part of 15 metres further forward. What a diffusion that was to get Featherstone out of danger. And Gale now on the back of that quick play the ball. Featherstone already up to the 30-metre line on the second tackle. So York having plenty of possession, but unable to unpick the Rovers' defence so far. Aikins at dummy half. The ball comes out eventually to Briscoe. Briscoe bumps away from one, steps away from another. Untidy offload, and he's going to have to go back and play that ball. Luke Briscoe, so dangerous and elusive, deemed to have been tackled there. Featherstone on the 40 in their own half. Lockwood again. Ever willing runner through the middle of the field. He'll play the ball just shy of the halfway line on the last tackle. Wildy waits at dummy half, gives it right to Aikins. Aikins hoists it high, didn't get as much on it as he would have liked. That's taken on the full there by Brown, and Brown has a little bit of room to move and eventually taken by Springer and Day on the 30-metre line. So both sides trading sets here as we approach the 8-minute mark. No score in the game so far. As Taus now plays the ball, not many metres in the offering for him, as he's brought to ground by Wildy and Leilua. Hingano's going to kick early here, looking for a 40-20. He's got plenty on it, but that's straight into the arms of Kerala. He didn't have the angle, and Kerala now has a little bit of room to wind up and run straight at Miles Harrison and is brought to ground. So with that early kick, York giving away field position there, as Featherstone will start their set just shy of the 40 inside their own half. But Gale really going forwards there, plenty of metres sideways, but easy work for the York defence there as Moore straightens things up into the arms of York and eventually finds the offload. The ball out to Day, and that's knocked down there, that pass, and trickles into touch. But this will be another set of 6 coming up to Featherstone. It was Moores finding the offload out the back. The ball found its way to Brad Day, who looked to draw and pass. That was knocked down by Pratt. And this should be head and feed to York. In fact, it's a play the ball to York. Score remains York 0, Featherstone 0. As the game resumes, Springer now. Straight through the middle of the ruck. No nonsense carry. Met with a no nonsense tackle from Ty and Santi as they quick play the ball for Moores. Out the back to Lacans. Lacans drops off Bussey. Bussey finds an offload there for Wildy. A little bit of space through the middle now, and it's picked off by Hingano. It was well read by Hingano. It's up and over the halfway line. No one's going to get anywhere near Atta Hingano. He salutes to the crowd and he touches down in the far corner. Well, it looked as if Featherstone were building something nicely on their right edge. The offload came out of the tackle. Matty Wildy held onto the ball as long as he could, drew and passed, but Hingano picked it off. He read it like a book and raced the best part of 60 metres against the run of play to get the first score of the game. As we approach the 10-minute mark, it's York City Knights 4, Featherstone Rovers 0. A good start undone for Featherstone there, who'd made plenty of territory, causing problems with their defence, causing problems with the offloads. But in the end, all coming undone with Hingano running away for the first try of the game. An early 4-0 lead goes in favour of York City Knights. It's going to be a difficult conversion attempt here. Miles Harrison, the man with the task, a few metres in from the far left touchline. But Featherstone certainly won't be deterred by that. The expansive play, this sometimes can happen. It was just a really good read, it has to be said, from Ngannou. The idea was great from Wildy, the execution just slightly off. But Featherstone certainly causing York problems early in this piece with their physicality and the second phase players. Harrison misses with his first conversion attempt, so the scoreline remains after 10 minutes in this contest. York City Knights 4, Featherstone Rovers 0. So we're up to the halfway again here. Featherstone rather in no real rush to get this one underway. Kerala will be the man to kick off, and it'll be taken on the try line by that man, the try scorer Hingano, and Ty with a little bit of space to wind up bends the Featherstone line, but they come again in their numbers to bring him down. He'll play the ball slowly on the 20. Jubb scampers down the short side looking for some space. That was a good tackle one-on-one by Leilua, helped out by McCanns in the end there. York 30 from their own line. Hingano finds Santi. Ty just down in back play there after that tackle, stung by the Featherstone defence. As York come forward, Santi will play it on the 30. Dropped off by Daly is Clarkson. Clarkson just into the teeth of that Featherstone defence once again. York playing very direct so far in this game. Come forward, Cunningham finds Daly. Daly almost slipped the net there, but Day came on the inside to close the door on him. That'll be the last one. Good set after points from York. 5 metres into Featherstone territory. Hingano will kick it, hoists it high, end over end here. Looking to test out Briscoe, climbs high brilliantly and takes it. Made it look very easy. And it was anything but that, with the York chasers absolutely bearing down on him as Kerala makes a half break and pinches 10 metres for Featherstone there. But Briscoe actually left down in back play there, so we'll keep an eye on the Featherstone winger. In fact, it's Jack Bussey who's down injured. I beg your pardon. We'll certainly keep an eye on that one as Lockwood comes forward again now. Couple of tackles remaining for Featherstone up to the 40-metre line. And they'll look to get to the halfway line as the pass comes out for Day. That's a great play. Into the line was Aikens. Cries for a forward pass from the home fans. Not given, as Featherstone will kick 5 metres into York territory. LeCans hoists it high. This will be taken comfortably by Brown. No real Featherstone players in the picture. He bounces away from Aikens, trying to find some space, goes through the middle of the field and eventually grounded in a grassing tackle from Wildy, who's also taken a knock there for his trouble. But York having the better of it, got a spring in their step after that try, and this will certainly help them as they're penalised for offside once again. Brad Ward it was coming in off his wing off that quick play of the ball, and Featherstone just not going back in time as Joey Leilua gesticulates to the referee, who still had Jack Bussey down on the far end, far touchline, still receiving treatment as the clock is eventually now stopped. We've just had 13 and a half minutes of the game gone. The score remains York City Knights 4, Featherstone Rovers 0. And too far away from where we are to see what the issue is with Bussey, but he hasn't moved since going down a couple of minutes ago now, and they are actually calling for the stretcher here, so not looking good for the Featherstone forward. You imagine it'll be long odds to continue in this game as it stands. Josh Hardcastle has the interchange card in his hand on that far touchline. So as we expected, physical, uncompromising start to this game, and getting the first real pause in proceedings now as Bussey is getting some attention from the trainers. Not entirely sure what happened to Bussey. It was something perhaps in back play in the lead up to when Briscoe climbed high to take that kick chase. He didn't get up from being involved in the picture in that play, and very concerning signs for Sean Long and his side as both groups of players come together here to have a little bit of a debrief with this extended break while Bussey receives treatment. We certainly hope that nothing too serious for Bussey, but Featherstone found the blueprint of how to get upfield against York. They're playing direct round the ruck with a combination of going wide early in their sets. Finding the second phase and offloads has troubled York. And as I say, that one, the only score of the game, Ata Hingano, very much against the run of play, has Featherstone trailing by 4 points to 0. It's still early doors, and Featherstone will be looking to hit back But they're going to have to do it without Jack Bussey by the looks of things. As the back row are still receiving some attention on that far side. There's plenty of trainers and physios around him. This is obviously a fairly serious looking injury. He will need a stretcher to be helped from the field. We'll try and get an update on that as we go. Can be challenging for players this when, obviously we wish Jack Bussey well. Of course we hope it's nothing too serious, but with an extended break in games like this, when you've been through the warm-up, you've gone through all the build-up to the game, and 15 minutes in, it's been physical, it's been fast-paced, and all of a sudden there's an extended break in this heat. Although it can be a welcome break, it's often the challenge then is to keep your concentration, keep yourself moving. There's a lot of players obviously just standing around, moving around. A couple of players moving around to try and keep themselves moving, but in this heat, as we said before the game, touching nearly 30 degrees, it's energy-sapping conditions out here. They'll be looking to reserve all of the energy they can. When the game does resume, it will be a penalty to York City Knights. They'll have the kick to touch from their own 40, so you'd imagine Featherstone's first task will be defend their goal line in this set. But we still are waiting. Jack Bussey needing attention from the medical staff here, and they're just getting him onto the stretcher. As I say, we'll keep tabs on that and see if we can get an update. If not during the game, certainly at the end of the game. But nobody likes to see this. Very, very reliable figure, Jack Bussey, in the Rovers forward back. And he is eventually taken from the field here on the stretcher. So Rovers, you'd imagine, will be down to 16 players for the rest of this game. As it is Josh Hardcastle who comes onto the field for the visitors. And the kick to touch from Daly has York set up 40 metres away from the Featherstone line on the first tackle. Featherstone trailing by 4 points to nil. Santi now wrapped up immediately by Junior Moores there and Gadwin Springer. Jubb gives it to Ty. Ty skips through the line and making Springer do back-to-back tackles through the middle of the field. Plays it 30 out. Hingano. Short pass there for Field, who's levelled by Joey Leilua in off his wing, and he's forced a mistake there, in off his edge, I should say. And a huge tackle coming from Joey Leilua. Just came flying in off his edge to try and shut down that play. It's been a go-to play from Hingano, either hitting flat going out the back. He went for the short ball that time, and he was immediately clattered by Leilua, who forced the ball free. So when Featherstone have actually been tasked to defend their goal line, done exceptionally well. Like I say, the only score of the game so far, that interception, 60-metre intercept to York's Atta Hingano as we approach the 15-minute mark here in York. Featherstone trailing by 4 points to nil. They have the scrum feed here, centre field, 20 metres from their own line. The ball comes out the back now. Hardcastle straight into the action. Spins away from one and eventually goes down in the tackle of Santi. And Pratt. Hankinson been very busy early. Hankinson, plenty to like about what he's been doing. The left centre. There's Kerala now. Very much a backs taking the carries so far, but now the forwards get involved through Lockwood up and over that halfway line. So Featherstone certainly not struggling to make metres forward here. They're already 10 metres into York territory. Moores. Flat pass there for Springer. Springer trying to get his arm free. Can't do so in the tackle of Cunningham and Jubb. And that's a good set to clear their line, Featherstone. They'll kick from 35 out. LeCans, plenty of time to put that kick into the air. The kick comes down, bounces, and fortuitously for York, bounces and goes over the dead ball line, and that will be another 7-tackle set. So Joe Brown taking the risk. Didn't want to risk trying to take that on the full. It was well placed by LeCans, but the bounce of the ball very much going in York's favour. Trickled over the dead ball line, and that'll be a 20-metre restart. As Featherstone come forward again here. Ward it is off his wing, once again. Familiar sight taking that first, second carry as The pass for Daly, who wasn't ready for it, gives it out to Pratt now. Pratt going backwards in the tackle of Day, eventually wrestles his way up to the 30-metre line, York side off halfway. Daly finds Santi. Santi's enveloped there in a good tackle from Day, who's really put himself about in this set of 6 for Featherstone. Plays the ball. Cunningham drops off Hingano. Hingano, the ball runner role in this set, just takes that carry. Takes a couple of defenders with him. He'll play the ball just shy of the halfway line. Daly drops off Clarkson. Clarkson into the clutches there of Day. Aikens in to help out there as well. Still a couple of tackles to come for York, who are 10 metres into Featherstone territory now as Ty takes the pass from Jubb, gives it out to Clarkson. A little bit of room for York, and he's wrapped up eventually there by Hankinson over the top, and he's called for him to have lost the ball. It's not given. This will be the last one, 30 metres out. Hingano's going to have to hurry a kick there under pressure from Springer. It's a high one again. Out to the wing and taken brilliantly by Briscoe once again. What an effort that is from the Featherstone winger. No nonsense, no lack of concentration at all, and no doubt in his mind he was going to claim that. Rose above the pack once again as Leilua plays the ball quickly for Hardcastle. These are tough carries from Featherstone, but necessary ones to get up the other end of the field as they trail by 4 points to 0 as we approach the 20-minute mark here at the LNER Community Stadium. Gale now through the middle of the field. Relieving run from him as Featherstone approach the halfway line. Ball was knocked down. This will be 6 again, effectively for Featherstone. As the pass was knocked down from Wildy out of dummy half, Lockwood cleaned up the scraps. Moores digs into the line. Good tackle down low from Santi. And the York player's been knocked off his feet. It's Clarkson. As Springer takes the pass from Lockwood. Featherstone are building nicely here, up to the 30-metre line, centre field. Only the second tackle for the visitors. Aikens steps into the line and will play it 20 metres out. Options left and right. Kerala gives it on to Springer. Springer up and over that 10-metre line. This is the best field position Rovers have had, arguably so far in this game. They play the ball for Moores. Moores out the back to Lacans. Lacans is wrapped up well there, and he's lost the ball in the tackle. And all of the pressure and the momentum building in that set comes to nothing, as it was a pass that was just knocked out of his hands. It was Hingano on his opposite number, came flying out of the line once again to shut down the play, forcing the error, and Lacan's taken a little bit of a knock for his trouble there as well. But he is thankfully back to his feet. Featherstone, of course, likely to be down to 16 players for the rest of this game, thanks to on the back of a rather serious-looking injury to Jack Bussey. So cheap turnover there, and Rovers letting York off the hook somewhat with that error from Lacans, who is okay to carry on. Just getting up a little bit gingerly. And York will have the scrum feed 10 metres out from their own line, centre field. Jubb. It's on to Harrison. Harrison with that carry. In fact, it's Ward, I beg your pardon. Ever willing runner out of this end of the field for York as they come forward with Thompson onto the field now for the first time and straight into his opening carry. He's wrapped up there by Hardcastle. York still within their own 30s. They come forward again here through Fitzsimons, who's onto the field. So double change for York in the middle of the field. Daly drops off Clarkson again, finds that pass, picks up Brown through the middle, almost gets away from two men. Lockwood eventually hauling him to ground on the inside. York on their own 40. Hingano, the only try scorer, gives the ball out to Harrison. Harrison steps away from one tackle, can't get away on the second attempt from Joey Leilua. Defended very well so far, Featherstone centre, as the kick comes along the ground, and that's gone out on the full. So York missing their assignment on that one, and not entirely sure what Hingano was trying to do there. It was a short side play on the last tackle, and he got the angle of the kick all wrong. It went out on the full, and this will now just be a turnover. 5 metres York side of halfway for Featherstone, so a real leg up for Rovers here. After 21 minutes of the game gone, it's York City Knights 4, Featherstone Rovers 0, and Featherstone get their first penalty of the game now. The high shot there from York, so York compounding an error with a penalty. How often do we see this in this game as a recipe? Often for a try, and Rovers will certainly be looking to make York pay here for that indiscretion. As the kick to touch on that far side by Lacans will have Featherstone starting their set 20 metres from the York line. So Featherstone enjoying back-to-back sets down at the York end. They'll be looking to post their first points here as LeCans drops off Springer, who just crashes into the York defence, and standing firm was Thompson, helped out by Fitzsimons and Cunningham. Comes centre field, LeCans onto Moores, kept hold of it in the end. Always dangerous, Junior Moores, who stands in the tackle and makes a couple of metres extra further forward. He'll play the ball 10 out to the left of the posts. LeCans into the line, Springer, it's going to be hard to stop. He's brought down eventually in a desperate tackle from Cunningham. Helped the top by Fitzsimons. He's 5 metres out. Lockwood out the back to Aikins. Aikins to Kerala, onto Hankinson. Hankinson, that pass is knocked down and it goes into touch. And that'll be another set of 6 coming up to Rovers here. Definitely a touch there from Brad Ward, I believe it was. The ball just trickling aimlessly over this near touchline, but no doubt in the world it was played at by the York man, and that'll be another set of 6 coming to Featherstone. So Sean Long's men enjoying a purple patch of possession and field position here, but ultimately need to make York pay here and need to take some petrol out of the tank at the very least. Trailing by 4 points to 0, Featherstone. The play the ball is for Lockwood now. Lockwood just stands and drops in the tackle, looking for a quick play of the ball. Thompson slowing it down. LeCans digs into the line. Dummies gives the ball to Leilua, and Leilua's going to go close to scoring and reaches the line, has he? Joey Leilua. The try is awarded and Featherstone are on the board. The third consecutive set of 6 the visitors had on the line. Really nice piece of deception from Thomas LeCans, who just dropped into the line, popped the ball up for Leilua, who, although he stumbled 5 metres out, had the power, the pace and the momentum to take him to the line. And just like that, the scores are level. We've had 13 minutes gone here at the LNER Community Stadium. It's now York City Knights 4, Featherstone Rovers 4. And what great play that was from the Featherstone halfback. Just took the ball into the line. Excellent, excellent. Held it up perfectly for Leilua to just drop into the space. And he scores to the left of the posts. It'll be Mark Kerala. They scored off exactly the same play last week against London, and the play working an absolute treat once again for Featherstone, who get on the board. And more importantly, lock up the scores and could even go in front here with Kerala. 10 metres to the left-hand side of the post, makes no mistake in converting the Joey Leilua try. And it's now York 4, Featherstone Rovers 6. Great bounce back from Featherstone there to take the advantage. Although a slender one at that. As York, again, slow to regroup and up to the halfway line. Forget how hot it is for these players this afternoon. Extremely hot and humid conditions as Kerala takes the kick-off and gives it on to Lockwood, who's put a real shift in so far for his side, as he always does through the middle of the field. Nearly 25 minutes without a break for the Featherstone skipper, as Gale now off the back of that carry. Makes the best part of 5 or 6 metres. Still on their own 20 though, Featherstone. Springer bends through the line, got his arms free, but didn't even think about the offload there, just keeps hold of it. Featherstone route one straight through the middle of the field. Moores has been dangerous, finds an offload there for Wildy. Wildy with a little bit of room to move straight through the middle of the field. Wildy, and eventually grounded with a desperate bootlace tackle by Fitzsimons. But Featherstone already now 30 metres away from the York line as LeCans gives the ball out to Leilua, the try scorer. Steps away from one, trying to get his arm free. He's taking defenders forward with him here, Leilua, and he's flirting with that touchline on the far side. He's eventually rounded up 8 metres from the York line. What a set after points this has been for Rovers. LeCans now will hoist it high on the last, looking for some chases. Hankinson climbs high, goes above everyone's head, and eventually battered dead by Ward. But the referee ruling there was a touch from a Featherstone man there, and that will be the turnover at 10 metres out. But if you're Sean Long, there was a lot to like about that set after points. Best part of 90 metres on the set there from Featherstone, and now York coming off their own line. Ward lost count of the number of carries the York winger has made, but going backwards in that tackle there from Lockwood will play it inside his own 10. Pratt now comes across field. Featherstone really ramping things up defensively here. This is the part of the game where people start to tire, and Featherstone have found some energy as Clarkson comes forward, wrapped up by Day. That's 3 tackles gone, still within their own 20 here, York. Daly, pass for Thompson. Thompson stutters, steps, almost get through the line there, Jordan Thompson, but eventually wrapped up in the tackle for Aikens and Moores. As Daly just takes the ball forward, no nonsense carry, and a really brave carry that from the York halfback. As York are going to kick from their own 40, and the kick is ricochets off the leg of Hankinson into touch, not played at surely. It's the referee just waiting for advice from his touch judges. Certainly no evidence to say that Hankinson played at that ball. It was an accidental one, and the second kick in a row that Hingano has got wrong there, and it will be a turnover on the halfway line. So Featherstone certainly not complaining with that one. Hingano had a very strong start to the game in the opening quarter, but his last 2 kicks have been way off the mark and giving up cheap field position for Featherstone. But they won't mind as the visitors come forward looking to build on their 2-point advantage. York 4, Featherstone 6. As Ye now into the action for the first time off the bench. Picks up the best part of 10 metres. So Featherstone now 30 metres away from the York line as Lacans gives it on to Hardcastle. Hardcastle playing on that right back row position now in the absence of Jack Bussey. Leilua at acting half. Lacans onto Lockwood. Lockwood short ball there for Moores. Moores stands in the tackle looking for the offload. Still going forward. Junior Moores, he's got 4 men around him. So difficult to bring down. Eventually goes down a metre short. Wildy. Short pass there for Lockwood. Lockwood's going to be hard to stop. Has he got the ball down? He hasn't. He's been held up. And credit to the York defence has to be given there. Lockwood hit the ball at pace from Wildy, but I think it was Jordan Thompson who managed to get himself under the ball with help from Jubb. And this will be the last one for Featherstone, who have to take the ball back to the 10, right in front of the post. They come left. Aikens gives it on to Hankinson. Hankinson is going to be wrapped up in this tackle in the end, so a rather underwhelming final play there. They didn't find their kick, but the obvious tactic you'd imagine is to just challenge York to come out of their own end in these hot conditions. Not a bad place to turn the ball over at all as Ward comes forward for York once again. Up to that 10-metre line, he'll play it. Tackled by Ye and Moores as they come forward now through Taus. Not many metres in the offering for the left winger for York. Still inside their own 20 here, York. Pass comes forward for Brown now. Brown skips through one but can't get away from Wildy. Wildy plays it quickly. Hingano looking to take the markers on. Buys a 6 again there. Wildy not able to get back on side in time according to the referee. So a little bit of a reliever there for York as Cunningham crabs across field looking for an option. Eventually goes down and submits to the tackle of Day and Aikens. He's still going forward, in fact, Cunningham. He'll play the ball a metre shy of the halfway line. That's only the first one for York, though. As Cunningham has been hurt in that tackle. Thompson now out to Hingano. Hingano out to Brown. Brown, good on his feet, comes off his left foot, wrapped up eventually by Lacans and Wildy. York 10 metres into Featherstone territory now as Thompson comes forward, almost tried to duck under the challenge of Moores, but he did well to haul down the experienced loose forward. 30 metres away from the line now, York. Featherstone leading by 6 points to 4 as Hingano, dangerous, offloads for Jubb onto Daly. Daly wrapped up there by Brad Day. What a tackle that is from the Featherstone back rower once again. York 20 metres from the line. Pass comes out to Hingano. They're going to kick early here. The kick coming out wide. It's battered backwards into the arms of Taus. And Taus will score for York. The try is awarded by the referee. And they put loads of pressure on Luke Briscoe so far in the game. Has been fantastic under the high ball, but the kick on top of his head, just evading his hands, bounced out of his possession into the hands, the waiting arms of AJ Taus, who won't score an easier try. And York wrestle the lead back as we approach the half-hour mark in this game. It's now York City Knights 4-8, Featherstone Rovers 6. Really disappointing one for Luke Briscoe there. Didn't do a lot wrong, hasn't put a foot wrong in this game so far, but the kick from Hingano was pinpoint, it was accurate, right on top of his head. They're very, very difficult ones to take and just unable to keep possession of the ball. I know it's often the case in that when there's chasers around the ball, usually goes in the attacking side's favour, and Taus just able to just drop onto that ball and gets York's second try and the lead back for the home side. Harrison now with the conversion attempt. Another difficult one. couple of metres in from the far left touchline as we see it. Missed his first one from a similar position. So he takes his time, steps up to add the extra 2. And it bounces off the uprights, so 0 from 2 so far from Miles Harrison. And how crucial could those missed conversions be if the contest is to stay like this? The scoreline remains York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 6. As John Davies injected into the game here in place of Junior Morse. So Sean Long just opting to freshen up a few bodies here as we approach the final few minutes of this first half. The kickoff comes. It's a long one taken by Hingano and given on to Thompson. Thompson now up and over the halfway line. The 10-metre line, I beg your pardon. Got my bearings completely wrong there as they come forward. Once again through Clarkson. Clarkson up and over that 20. So Featherstone doing a good job so far in this set to contain York as Daly steps up his right foot, bounces away from Aitkins. Aitkins comes again with Wood. And York, 35 metres from their line here, middle of the tackle count. Jubb onto Clarkson, just takes the straight up carry this time. Wrapped up by Ye and Wildy. Ball comes out for Cunningham. Cunningham shapes, gives it out the back to Hingano. Hingano keeps hold of it. Dangerous every time he touches the ball at Hingano, and eventually did well to keep hold of that under the attention of Davies. Last tackle for York. Daly. Under pressure, untidy kick down the middle of the field, and that's picked up by Kerala now. And Kerala will play the ball 30 metres from the line as the boos ring around the York Stadium. They wanted a penalty for the attention on the kicker there, but not given by the referee. Didn't see a great deal in that as Fev come forward again now, up and over that halfway line through Briscoe. Briscoe looking to atone for that mistake a couple of minutes ago as Gale now. Both wingers getting involved in this set. Finds the offload there. And now space for Kerala. Straight through the middle of the field. Mark Kerala. He's running away from his support play. He doesn't got much in fairness. Drops off Leilua. Leilua's going to be difficult to stop. Joey Leilua, can he get to the line? He's over the line. He's got the ball down here, has he, Joey Leilua? What a fantastic try that is, as the referee awards it in that far corner. And just minutes after going behind, Featherstone get the perfect response. The offload came out of the tackle on halfway from Gareth Gale. Mark Kerala had all of the York players with their back to him. He took the opportunity, went straight through the middle of the field. He had no support. He crabbed across field looking for some. He eventually found it in the shape of Joey Leilua, and as he often does, makes no mistake, carrying 3 or 4 York defenders over the line. Grabs his second try of the game. And with 6 minutes to go to the break, Featherstone are back in front. It's York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 10. Wonderful play from 2 of the Featherstone outside backs there. Well, 3 if you count Gale's involvement. The set was started off really well by the first carry from Briscoe, followed up by Gale, who got the arm free, lovely controlled offload, and Kerala went straight through the middle of the field. The composure he showed and the patience, he knew he didn't need to overplay his hand. It was still the middle of the tackle count. Eventually picked up Leilua, who hit the ball at speed, skittling York defenders, and scores on the right edge as Kerala looks to add the extra 2 as his flags are waved away. So it remains a 2-point ball game here in York. It's York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 10. What a clash this has been so far. We thought it would be this. Despite being not where they want to be on the table, York, an extremely dangerous side, will have taken a lot of belief and encouragement from their competitive defeat to Lee Leopards last week in the Cup, have been in red-hot form and certainly showing that belief this afternoon. But Featherstone back in front as they take the kick-off through Kerala, the orchestrator of that second Joey Leilua try, and Lockwood, who hasn't had a break yet. Unbelievable effort from Rovers skipper. There's Mackenzie Yeh now through the middle of the field. Wrapped up in the end by Hingano and Fitzsimons. Play it on the 20. Gale now. Got the whole set started off in the lead up to that Leilua try. Plays it on the 30-metre line now for Fev. As they come forward, Hardcastle stands, offloads. Featherstone starting to find a few offloads again here as Aikins with the ball, dummies into the line. Day, can he get his arm free? Into Hankinson, the ball goes backwards and it's knocked on the ruling, and Featherstone just getting their execution slightly wrong there. There is such a thing as overplaying their hand a little bit and finding some offloads, but there is a time and a place to do so, and in fairness to Day, who found the offload, it should have really been taken by Hankinson, who just fluffed his lines a little bit there, and that will be a turnover, scrum feed on halfway. Make it just under 4 minutes of the first half remaining. 2 points separating the two sides. York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 10. You're listening on FRTV. So Daly will have the scrum feed. Trapped in the back of the scrum, eventually comes out now to Hingano. Hingano tapped on by Brown onto Taus. Taus is wrapped up there over the top, but that was a high shot from Briscoe, who can't have any complaints about that one really. Just being wrong-footed by his opposite number, and desperate attempt to come over the top and wrap up his man. There's no malice in it. It's just a little bit of a careless one creeping high, and that will be a penalty to York on halfway. So with 3 minutes of the half remaining, this is arguably Featherstone's biggest defensive test of the game so far. They have that slender 2-point advantage, but they'll get a real examination of their defensive prowess here in their goal line defence as Jubb will tap it 30 metres out. Hingano gives it on to Thompson. Thompson is smashed there by Davies. Yay over the top. Plays it centre field. Jubb onto Cunningham. Not much in the offering for Cunningham. Very much a settler there. Not much momentum, but he's still struggling in the tackle, and he's eventually goes backwards and slammed to the ground there by Mackenzie Yeh. As they come forward, Daly finds Hingano. Hingano comes across field. That ball's knocked on there, on that far side, by Ollie Field. And high fives all around for Featherstone, who got up in their face. They only got to the third tackle, York, but the opening 2 tackles from Featherstone were really physical, bending their backs and driving the men backwards and forcing the error there. And with less than 2 minutes to go to the break, Featherstone will be content to just play out their set, get to the other end of the field and try and take this contest to half-time. They'll have the scrum feed 25 metres from their own line, centre field. Hankinson with the carry off the scrum, runs straight at Pratt, eventually goes down. Aikins gives it on to Gale now. Gale steps off his right, his left, looking for some space, still standing in the tackle, Gareth Gale. Been real good value off his wing so far in those yardage carries. Wilde to Davis now. Davis up and over the halfway line. 5 metres into York territory. Lockwood into the clutches of Jubb, helped out there over the top by Thompson. Featherstone just short of the 30 now inside York territory. What would they give for a try just before half-time as Lacans drops off Hardcastle. Hardcastle stands in the tackle. He's wrapped up by a trio of black and yellow jerseys there. That'll be the last one for Featherstone. 45 seconds to go to the break. Lockwood to Aikins. Aikins digs it in behind the line, and that's well picked up by Brown, but a good chase there from Chris Hankinson. Good set of 6 coming from Featherstone there as Ward looks to get them going forward, but as we've seen often in this game, York still with 2 tackles gone inside their own 10. Featherstone have played the territory game really well for the most part of this first half. Still leading by 10 points to 8, the visitors. As York come forward again here. Still inside their own 20 on the 4th tackle. This has been an excellent defensive set from Featherstone as Hingano just submits to the tackle really on the last one. He's ready for the half-time break. As the siren sounds, and that will be an end to the first half here at the LNER Community Stadium in York. And it's exactly what we expected from 2 quality sides in the Betfred Championship. It was a really tight opening quarter with just an Atta Hingano try separating the sides after 20 minutes as it intercepted the pass to go 60 metres before Featherstone got themselves on the board after 24 minutes with Joey Leilua grabbing his first try of the afternoon off a lovely pass from Thomas Lacans. On the half an hour mark, York wrestled back the lead with an AJ Taus try off the back of a unfortunate Luke Briscoe mistake from a kick, but just a couple of minutes later, Mark Corrala busting through the middle of the field, finding Leilua, who finished brilliantly with attention from plenty of York defenders in support to grab his second. Corrala, 1 from 2 from the boot so far this afternoon, is proving the difference between the two sides here in York. We have a half-time score of York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 10. And don't go anywhere for this one, it's going to be an almighty second half, and Featherstone got a real challenge on their hands if they want to retain that healthy lead at the top of the Betfred Championship. York playing exceptionally well, neither side giving an inch, and it'll be an extremely pulsating second half. We'll take a quick break and be back for all the second half commentary in a few minutes' time. Hello and welcome back to the BCR Community Stadium in York. We're here for the second half of Betfred Championship Round 16 action between York City Knights and Featherstone Rovers. Featherstone with the slender 10 points to 8 advantage at half-time as we get the second half back underway as the heavens have opened at half-time. A storm sweeping through York in the midst of all this hot weather, and a disastrous start for Featherstone. First up with a penalty going against them immediately. It was a difficult kick-off. It skidded along the floor, bounced into the arms eventually of Atta Hingano, but Josh Hardcastle creeping high there with the challenge. And York will have the penalty immediately and will take over and start their set 40 metres away from their own line. So you'd imagine if they can keep hold of possession, they will end the set down in Featherstone's half as the rain comes absolutely teeming down here in York now. Not what we expected when we kicked the game off with glorious sunshine, but could this change the dynamic and the way that both teams will play their rugby for the remainder of this game? As Thompson plays the ball on halfway, Fitzsimons now up and over that halfway line now, and he's driven back, and a great challenge there from Davis, Wildy and Lockwood. Lockwood, apart from the half-time break, has played every minute of this game so far as Fitzsimons crabs across field, can't get away from the attention of Ye now. It really is coming down, as you may be able to hear in the background, as York come forward now through Brown, and sticks to the task well there, does Josh Hardcastle. So York on the last tackle will be 30 metres away from the Featherstone line. Chubb, short side play for Hingano. Hingano hoists it high, that's caught in the wind. It's battered back in field here for Harrison. Harrison is wrapped up in the end by Luke Briscoe, and eventually it was given that he was in touch there, Miles Harrison. Ball had already gone out of play. Well, he touched the ball, but when he touched it, he was out of the field of play. That will constitute a turnover, and Featherstone will have first use of the ball in the second half now. As Briscoe is just wrestled backwards onto his back there by Fitzsimons, 10 metres out from his own line. Gale now. Ball retention becomes key here with the rain pelting down the middle of the ground. Leilua, 2 tries in the first half, will be looking to pick up where he left off, and he'll play the ball just short of the 30-metre line. Featherstone's side of halfway. Lockwood now. Uncompromising defence from York. Fitzsimons was in there with Clarkson, who's come back out with some heavy knee strapping. So he's obviously not 100% fit, as Kenzie Ye now up and over the halfway line, standing in the 3-man tackle. They can't be put to ground. That'll be the last one for Featherstone. It'll kick on the halfway, short side on the left. Hankinson, the man taking over the kicking duties, just dabs it all along the ground and eventually touches the corner flag. That constitutes a 20-metre tap and a 7-tackle set. York just about getting their men back behind the line as Brown looks to cart the ball forward, and will go down on the 30-metre line. So both sides getting through their sets without any trouble there in the opening couple of minutes of the second half. York 8, Featherstone 10. Listening on FRTV. It's Davey comes back through the middle of the field looking for some space. That's a great tackle, great shot. Up and under the ball there from Josh Hardcastle, who just bent him backwards. Thompson. Ball comes out to Hingano. Hingano stands in the tackle. Really testing conditions here for both sets of players. The rain is absolutely swirling around the field, and Hingano didn't like that pass that he was given. There is Thompson. Great carry through the middle of the field, back in the side after injury this afternoon for York. City Knights on halfway. Hingano drops off Field. Field goes down in the tackle of Davies and Lockwood. 40 minutes from the line now, York on the last. Ball is charged down there by still the last tackle, in fact, and it's gone into touch. It wasn't played at. Joey Leilua did turn his back to that ball, so deemed to have not played at that one. And this will be a turnover to Featherstone, 40 metres away from the York line. So the first opportunity of the second half in terms of field position going in Rovers' favour here. So you see that fans at the far side just retreating to the back of the stand as the rain continues to swirl around the ground here. And first tackle taken by Lockwood, who did well in the end to keep hold of that ball on the ground. Davies through the middle, gives it to LeCans. LeCans drops off Hardcastle. Hardcastle stands in a three-man tackle, keeps hold of the ball this time. Featherstone just 22 metres away from the line, leading by 10 points to 8. As Davies just route one straight through the middle, keeping York honest. Field eventually brought him to ground with Jubb, 10 metres out. Wilder gives a short pass for Mackenzie Yeh. Mackenzie Yeh finds the offload for LeCans to Hardcastle. Hardcastle come back through the middle of the field, finds the pass for Wilder. Featherstone stringing a few passes together. The kip comes along the line. It's taken by York brilliantly on that far side, it has to be said. I think it was Pratt, the man who did exceptionally well to take the ball on the ground and stay in the field of play, that Featherstone looking to ramp things up defensively as Pratt with his second carry of the set. Still inside the 10 now, or just over the 10 metre mark in fact. So another Featherstone man's been left on the ground there. It's Brad Day, the man who's taken a knock of some kind. We'll keep an eye on him in back play as Hingano finds Fitzsimons. Fitzsimons plays it for Hingano. He's going to kick early here from 30 metres away from his own line. Hooks it back across the other side of the field. That's taken on one bounce by Gale, who's got the best part of 20 metres to wind up and take some space, and that was not the best chase from York, and a great return from Gareth Gale. So Featherstone will start their set 40 metres away from their own line. Second tackle now by Briscoe. Stands in the tackle. Thought about the offload, kept hold of it himself. Kerala at dummy half, gives it to Hardcastle. Hardcastle across the field, finds Leilua. Leilua skips inside Taus, wrapped up in the end by Harrison. Already 10 metres into York territory, Featherstone. Couple of tackles still to come. Davies centre field, shaped to give it to Yeh, eventually finds Kerala. Kerala tries to step around Hingano. That was a great tackle from Hingano, but York straying offside. And the penalty comes to Rovers. And Featherstone in the last few minutes, 7 minutes of the second half we've had, Featherstone just set after set, just turning the screw and working their way further and further downfield. Will have a full set of tackles. In fact, they're going for the two here. Message coming down from Sean Long to take the two on offer. It's about 30 metres out, just to the right-hand side of the post. You would imagine the player of the kicking prowess of Mark Kerala will have little difficulty in nudging Featherstone further in front, take that 4-point advantage and just take some sting out of the game. Obviously thinking in these wet now, extremely wet conditions, points could be at a premium. So Kerala with the penalty goal. Steadies himself. Hits the post and goes through. So Featherstone do extend their advantage here to the 4-point buffer. It's now York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 12. The way that this game has gone, every point is valuable. And Featherstone just choosing to take the two on offer there. Kerala making no mistake as the kick comes now from Harrison. A long kick-off taken in the in-goal area by Akins, who gives it on to Mackenzie Yeh, who's had some real impact since coming off the bench towards the end of that first half for Sean Long's side. Gale now up to that 20-metre line. There's the ball as the rain, the heavy rain at least, subsiding for the moment. Featherstone through Hankinson up to the 30-metre line. Akins comes down that left edge. Brad Day seems to have shaken off an earlier issue. It's okay to carry on. Davis now. Just bullocking his way up to that halfway line. He'll go down a blade of grass short of it. Last tackle for Featherstone. Akins hoists it high. Hasn't got a great deal of distance on that one. That'll be taken by Hankinson. In fact, he knocks it on and it goes straight into the arms of the York player. I believe that's Brad Ward. And he'll play the ball 30 metres from his own line. Harrison grabbing across field. No space on the offer. Going forward as he runs straight into the arms of Junior Moores and Mackenzie Yeas. Come forward again here, York. Good relieving run there from field up to the halfway line. Jubbard acting half. Gives it to Hingano into the line. Out the back it comes for Daly. Brown under a little bit of pressure. Slipped the net of Gale. And is wrapped up by Featherstone man. There was cries for a high tackle not given by the referee as Hingano back through the middle of the field. Gives it to Fitzsimons. York have managed to advance the ball 10 metres into Featherstone's half now, with a couple of tackles still to come. Daly, it's out to back to Brown. Brown, good tackle down low there by Caleb Akins. This will be the last one. Short side, Clarkson just puts it on the boot along the deck, and that'll roll into touch. About 5 metres out from the try line on that far right touch line. And the obvious tactic for both sides here is just to try and ramp up, force an error with your defence, and that's certainly what York will be looking to do here, as Featherstone will have the play the ball 10 metres from their own line. We've had 11 minutes of the second half gone here at the LNER Community Stadium. It's York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 12. Just the Mark Kerala penalty goal in off the posts. It's the sole score in the second half so far, as Featherstone struggling to go forward here as Hardcastle loses a couple of metres after contact, and Connor Jones getting them going forward now in off the bench and having an immediate impact. Picks up the best part of 15 metres there, Connor Jones. LeCans gives it to Moores. Moores spins out of the tackle of Thompson, who comes again but makes the best part of 15, 16 metres again. Junior Moores. These are two huge carries from Featherstone through the middle of the field, and Davies is straight through the middle of the field now off the pass. He's got men queuing up in support. He gives the pass for Kerala. Kerala's going to go close to scoring. He's going to reach the line, Mark Kerala. And just like that, Featherstone go the length of the field on that set to get a crucial try here through Mark Kerala, who had the momentum on the wet ground to slide over the line. There was cries from the York fans in the stand opposite us for a forward pass from Connor Jones to John Davies, who split straight through the middle of the ruck. He had players left and right. He could hear the chasers coming and he kept his composure, found Kerala at pace. The York defence regrouped, but just not in time to stop the Featherstone fullback from scoring. And that could be a crucial try in the context of this game, as Featherstone for the first time have opened up a 2-score lead. It's York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 16. And Mark Kerala, the scorer of all of the second half points so far in this one. What a piece of play that was from Connor Jones. We mentioned that Sean Long had brought him into the game just to try and spark up the ruck a little bit. Made a relieving run on his first touch of the ball. And then lovely disguised play. Short pass through the middle of the ruck. Found Davis, who split straight through the line. Kerala there to finish, and Kerala adds the extra 2 to his own try. And all of a sudden, the scoreline is 10 points. It's now York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 18. As the game gets back underway, pouched safely by Akins. As they come forward again now through Hankinson. Hankinson up to the 20. Mackenzie Yeh now just batters his way upfield, just short of that 30-metre line inside the Featherstone half. Briscoe scampers through the middle of the field. Great footwork, leaves Thompson on the ground, can't get away from Santi. Up to the 40, quick play the ball, one-handed pick up from Leilua. Up and over the halfway line. Featherstone have got best part of 60 metres on that set after points. Jones finds LeCans. LeCans hoists it high now. Good to put the York man under pressure. It's taken well there by Taus. Confident take from the York winger. Pouches it 15 metres away from his own line. Harrison now up to the 20, and this is something that Featherstone have done really well so far in this game. Their kick chase has been excellent. They've done a great job at containing York in their own half, as Pratt now looking to go forward. Plays the ball inside his own 30. Pass comes to Davies, given on. Daly, I beg your pardon, on to Higano, who finds Fitzsimons. Plays it for Jubb. Jubb on to Hingano. Hingano, untidy pass but behind him, and is eventually wrapped up by Jones, and LeCans losing their way a little bit in this set, York, as Brown is going to have to kick on the last. That's well taken on the full by Kerala on the 20, who's got some space to wind up now. And he won't meet a York chaser until he reaches the 40-metre line. So the last few minutes, Featherstone really ramped things up in terms of energy and speed. They've taken control of this game. They lead York by 18 points to 8. 25 minutes of the game remaining. Briscoe up and over the halfway line now. As we flip between downpour of heavy rain and light drizzle. We've got the latter at the moment. So York struggling to contain Featherstone's go forward here. Great run from Moores. 25 metres away from the line now again. Come Featherstone. LeCans finds Leilua. Leilua off his right foot. Finds the offload in field for Hardcastle. Hardcastle tried to get his arm free, couldn't do so. The tackle over the top from Fitzsimons was a crucial one. On the last, 10 metres out. Ball comes back in field. LeCans just puts the ball down under pressure. And a disappointing end to the set for Featherstone there, who were building something nicely. The first real mistake we've seen off the back of the wet conditions. The pass came out to LeCans. He knew what he wanted to do with it, but failed to secure the ball in the first place. Puts the ball down, and that will be a turnover 10 metres out. But not the worst place in the world to turn the ball over. As York come forward. Daly gives it on to Thompson now. Thompson up and over that 30-metre line. Daly has Santi here. It is winds up and knocked off his feet there by Mackenzie. Yeah, great tackle from the substitute forward, as Hingano is going to kick early again, looking for a 40-20. Again, he hasn't quite got the angle on that one. It's going to straighten up, but it's a good kick all the same on the try line. It's picked up by Kerala, and a decent York chase this time, and they wrap him up 12 metres away from his own line, and an untidy play the ball there. And that's going to be a knock-on. 50-50 call there. Could have easily been a penalty against York for having feet in the ruck, but the referee ruling that Kerala had not got to his feet properly and didn't have control over that ball, so that'll be a cheap turnover. And all of a sudden, York, who haven't had much ball down this end of the field, invited in to attack the Featherstone line. So it looks like Daly has gone to dummy half here for York, with Will Jubb taking a breather, as Santi off the restart will play the ball 10 metres from the Featherstone line here. He's bang in front of the uprights here. They've got options left and right. York, they go right. Cunningham playing first receiver. Drops off Pratt. Pratt, good tackle there from Day. Over the top was Akins. All hands to the pumps defensively for Featherstone here. Holding on to that 10-point advantage. Fitzsimons skips away from one. Ye comes again down low to cut off his progress. He'll play the ball to the right-hand side of the post. 8 metres out. Santi, flat pass. Tries to reach for the line. That's a great tackle down low from Davis. And it had to be a try-saver. Hingano gives the ball on to Field, who's eventually grounded a metre short by LeCans. Still, it's the last one for York. Big play coming up. Harrison stabs the kick in. It's taken well by LeCans, and that's fantastic defence from Rovers on that set. Didn't panic. Plenty of questions asked, but coming up trumps. And now get the chance to clear their line through Briscoe. Tough carry. And he's driven back in a strong 3-man York tackle. Plays the ball on the 10. Hardcastle. Runs straight back at Thompson, really working the York loose forward over on this set. They're calling her for a knock-on. The referee almost gave it. Kept the whistle in his pocket as they come forward now through Kerala. Moores now up and over the top of Santee and leaves a couple of York players on the deck, eventually rounded up by Cunningham. That'll be the last one. 40 metres from their own line it is, and Hankinson just stabs the kick along the line and over the touchline on that far side. York will have to play the ball about 25 metres away from their own line as we approach the hour mark of this contest. It still remains York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 18. Featherstone by no means home and hosed here, but certainly in control of this contest, and will need very much more of the same in this final quarter to see the game out. York with the play the ball here. Ronan Michael now onto the field for the first time this afternoon, so Andrew Henderson keeping some players fresh for the second half as Akuma Tai is now back on the field. It's a double substitution again for York in the middle of the field. Imagine that these two forwards will play out the remainder of this game as Daly skips through the line and almost got through the line. That was a great tackle down low, and it had to be from Davies with Springer over the top. So the knock-on comes out of nowhere from Hingano, and Hingano's done some really good things in this game. He's had a few moments to forget as well, as he's just knocked the ball on under no pressure there. And Featherstone take over with possession up and over the halfway line through Springer. So the visitors matching like for like. They're rotating some of their forwards as well as we go into the final quarter of this contest. Gale up and over the 40, York side of halfway. Still tackles in the bag for Featherstone. Jones, I beg your pardon. Finds Moores up and rumbling up towards that 20-metre line. He's still going, Junior Moores, such a handful as he has been all afternoon through the middle of the field. 20 metres away from the line now, Akins drops off Hankinson stands in that tackle and eventually goes down 10 metres out. He's about 5-6 metres in from that far left touchline. They must come to the centre of the field. The kick looking for the chasers, and it's eventually ground. It was almost grounded by John Davis. The kick from Kerala evaded everybody. Featherstone fans behind the sticks aren't happy. They thought there was clearly a touch from a York man, but the final touch deemed to have been from a Featherstone man, and that'll be 7 tackles set. Featherstone really muscling up in defence here, pushing Taus back. As York looking to come forward again here. Harrison comes off his right foot, can't get away from the attention of Springer and Hardcastle. Hardcastle, of course, ejected into the game early due to the injury to Jack Bussey. We'll try and get an update on that after the game as York cough up the ball once again here. And there's a little bit of fatigue starting to set into the City Knights as that's back-to-back mistakes in their own half. Soft errors as well, it has to be said. And this is playing right into Featherstone's hands, who won't be complaining as they go straight on the attack now through Brad Day up to the 20-metre line. Springer, flat pass for Briscoe. Running as an option in the middle of the field this time, Luke Briscoe. Awkward looking tackle, eventually plays the ball 10 metres out. Jones onto Springer, flat pass there for Moores. Moores finds the offload, trickles out the back, and in fact it's been ruled as a knock-on. Thought the offload had come from the big man to the left-hand side of the post, but ruled as an error. The Featherstone fans unhappy with that call. As we just take a brief stoppage here. Not sure what this is for. Referee just calling a halt to proceedings. So a York player receiving some treatment. Is it Hingano in the back play here? So we're now getting some physios on the field here to supply the drinks to the players, just having a little bit of a pause. So we've got 17 minutes, just over 17 minutes of the game remaining. York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 18. All of the points in the second half so far going to Featherstone Rovers and Mark Kerala with a converted try and a penalty. Leaving Featherstone with that 10-point cushion and time as the minutes tick on, becoming an enemy of York here. Who've rarely been at the other end of the field, it has to be said, in this second half. Featherstone doing a great job at keeping the game down the right end of the field from their perspective as they're going to get the game back underway here. Scrum feed, 10 metres out, centre field, off the back of the mistake. York will have the feed. Cunningham. Daly eventually gives it on to Harrison. He's wrapped up well there by LeCans. They come forward. Field. Found the offload there for Taus, but not much in the offering for him going forward as York with a little bit of room to move. That's a great tackle on the inside from Leilua, just shuffling Field up towards that touchline. York still 30 metres away from their own line. Daly takes it low down, eventually into the arms of Hingano. Hingano, long looping pass out, and that's knocked on again by York, and the ball is live here for Hankinson. Hankinson managing to keep the ball in field. Eventually the ball goes over the touchline. And York becoming their own worst enemy here. They understand that time's starting to tick away. They're chasing points, but the last few sets of 6, their execution's been all over the place, and I think it was Ollie Pratt this time. 3 errors in a row inside their own half, and the looping pass from Hingano, in hindsight, wasn't the play. Especially when the ball's as slippery and greasy as it is. And Featherstone now with the scrum feed 20 metres from their own line, leading by that 10-point advantage. 18 points to 8. A try here would go a long way to wrapping this contest up as Hardcastle takes it from LeCans off the scrum win, and he's lost the ball backwards there into the arms of Hingano. Hingano returns serve for York, and it's Hardcastle who's left on the ground in back play. It's a bit of an injury here, I think, which might have been a catalyst for why he lost the ball, but Hardcastle hasn't really moved at the other end of the field as Michael finds the offload out of the 3-man tackle. Daly, flat pass there for Clarkson. Clarkson is met in a strong challenge there from Lockwood, who's back onto the field to stiffen things up. The final quarter of an hour. Featherstone still playing with 12 men here as the referee is yet to stop the clock. Davis eventually wraps up Thompson. Hingano onto Field. Field steps off his left foot. Good tackle one-on-one. Helped out in the end, LeCans was by Jones. And eventually the referee stops the clock to an ironic cheer from the far end of the field from the Featherstone fans as Hardcastle's been down for the best part of a minute here, and Featherstone have done well defending with a man short. And another, unfortunately, serious-looking injury here to Josh Hardcastle, who's eventually back on his feet now. Fell awkwardly in the tackle straight off the scrum and let go of the ball straight away, and looking very, very ginger, being helped from the field. Looks like a lower leg, possibly a knee or an ankle injury at the moment. Struggling to put some weight on that leg, and he will be helped from the field. So Sean Long's men are going to have to play the final 14 and a half minutes with just 15 men now, as Jack Bussey injured in the first half. And Hardcastle, the man actually who came on to replace him, who's done a great job playing on this right edge, will now be helped from the field. So it'll be interesting to see what Rovers' boss does to rotate his line-up here. Looks like Matty Wildy's going to be the man to come back onto the field. Looking at the positions here, it could potentially be, I may be wrong, it could potentially be here that Connor Jones is going to play on the edge. I think they're just working those details out, to be honest. So Wildy's come back onto the field, but Jones is still on the field. I think the two of them are still discussing who is going to fill that right edge back row position. It's Hardcastle, sad sights on the far side, still been helped from the field, but when we do resume play, it'll be York 25 metres away from the Featherstone line, and a big few tackles coming up defensively for Rovers. So we get the game back underway now. Daly into the line, stands and drops in the tackle of Jones and Wildy. That'll be the last one for York, 30 metres out. Hingano is going to kick it high here, looking to put Gale under a bit of pressure. It's taken really well there by the York man, but he passes the ball forward, and it's eventually knocked on that far side. It was Brad Ward who climbed above Gareth Gale to get the ball, but the Featherstone defence smothered him. He could only manufacture a forward pass out of the tackle, and that'll be the turnover. So another tick in the box for Sean Long's side defensively here, as every set they complete, They get closer to victory. They're leading the York City Knights by 18 points to 8. Just under 14 minutes of the game remaining here at the LNER Community Stadium. Hankinson plays it for Jones. Jones gives it to Briscoe. Briscoe loses the ball in the tackle there, so Featherstone's turn to start coughing up a bit of possession here. Although it stopped raining now, the ball, the pitch, extremely greasy. As Briscoe puts his hand up, apologises to his teammates, and this will be a big minute defensively coming up for Featherstone. A try to York here just keeps the door open for the home side. York will be Featherstone will be determined to hold them out once again. Scrum feed will be 30 metres away from the line. Eventually won. Daly out the back here to Brown. Brown gives it on to Pratt. Pratt comes off his right foot. Good tackle down low there by Davies. And over the top was Aitkins. Clarkson off his left foot. Great tackle. Over the top was Jones with help from Moores. York 20 metres from the line. Thompson shapes to come inside, goes out the back to Hingano, out the back to Harrison now. Harrison comes back in field looking for some tired defenders. Springer and Lockwood alert to the danger. They close the door on him promptly. 15 metres from the line now, York. Middle of the field, Hingano checks, gives it back to Akuma Tai, who finds the offload to Hingano, out to Harrison. Harrison gives it back to Hingano. Hingano finds the kick out wide. This is going to be a contest, a good honest contest between Briscoe and Taus. And Briscoe had to be alert there. Great piece of defensive play, but he does give up a goal line dropout. And if he hadn't have hurried and read the play and got there, it would have certainly been a try to AJ Taus. So great bit of defending once again from Luke Briscoe. As the clock is stopped. Just under 12 minutes of the game to go. York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 18. As Hankinson gets plenty on that one. And it's taken on the bounce eventually by Ronan Michael. There's cries from the Featherstone defenders, fans behind the post for a knock on, but clear example of the vision being obscured. There was no way that the York player had knocked that ball on, and they retained possession through Akuma Tai now. But over the 30-metre line, York coming left through Hingano, digs into the line, flat pass for Harrison. Harrison wrapped up there again. Good tackle from Wildy, who is, I believe, playing in this right edge back row position at the moment. Thompson, crossfield, gives it to Cunningham. Cunningham dummies, and he's scragged to the ground there by John Davis. What a great piece of defence that was from the stalwart. The ball smuggled out to a tie now, gives it to Hingano. Hingano, pass is knocked down by Lacans, back into the hands of Hingano. So huge pressure mounted on the Featherstone defence as the tackle count restarts. York will have the ball 10 metres out. And Hingano, really slow play the ball here. He's taken a bang. Has he got a cramp? Been told to play the ball here, eventually does so. And Ronan Michael it is who takes the ball forward. Stands in the challenge. A couple of jerseys, Featherstone jerseys around him. Daly gives it to Ty. Ty stutters, steps into the line, looking to poke his nose through. Good tackle in the end over the top from Springer. And Lockwood, he's a metre short, just to the left-hand side of the post. Still tackles in the bank for York City Knights. Hingano, dummies, spins. Great tackle from Wildy. Hauls him to ground. A couple of tackles still to come for Featherstone. The kick stabs into the Featherstone man eventually. Ricochets off Lockwood and picked up by Springer. And that's a great defensive effort from Featherstone once again, who've had to do their fair share of defending in this last 5 minutes and refusing to buckle under the pressure of York as we're inside the final 10 minutes here at the LNER Community Stadium. It's still York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 18. Featherstone looking to close out their third consecutive win against York in the championship this year. As Leilua skips away from 1-2, and great run from Joey Leilua. 20 metres forward, what a relieving run that is from the centre. As Aikins, short pass to Hankinson. Hankinson looking to get his arm free and eventually scragged to the ground. Desperation stuff from Pratt, and it had to be. Otherwise, Hankinson was away. Last tackle, 40 metres out. Kerala just hammers the ball back against the grain, looking to find touch. He can't do so. It's eventually cut off by Ward, and Ward is thrown to the ground there by Featherstone. Great piece of play from Rovers in the last 60 seconds. They've gone the best part of 80 metres, and their kick chase was fantastic, but just giving away 6 again there. Connor Jones not square at dummy half. As the pass comes to Taus. Taus almost dropped it, kept hold of it in the end, and avoids an absolute disaster for York there. 20 metres out from their own line, there still are York, as Hingano gives it to Field. Field is bent backwards in the tackle of Wildy and Lacans. Daly gives it on to Hingano. Hingano out the back. Untidy pass for Brown, who loses the ball, and that just about sums up the second half for York, who have rarely been able to retain possession coming out of their own end on the back of stout, resolute defence from Featherstone. Another mistake deep in their own end, and Featherstone will have a golden opportunity to add to their lead, and another try here, you would imagine, will put the game to bed with just 8 minutes on the clock. York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 18 in the final stages of this one, and Featherstone with the scrum 20 metres out from the York line. There's absolutely no rush. They'll be looking to put the game to bed here. Got options left and right. The ball eventually comes out of the scrum to Briscoe. Just takes that no-nonsense carry one off the scrum. He's been excellent, Luke Briscoe. Just one error in the first half, but other than that, absolutely fantastic. As Moores, another man who's been extremely influential on this contest, goes down 5 metres short of the line, just to the right-hand side of the post. Jones gives it to Leilua on the hat-trick. Looks for the offload to Jones. Jones is wrapped up well there by Brown, who was alert to the danger. Just for a minute there, it looked as if there'd be space for Jones to reach the line, and the door was closed in his face. Ball comes back in field. Wildy onto Lockwood. Lockwood stands in the tackle. Eventually goes to ground. 5 metres out. Bang in front of the post. Still tackles in the bank for Featherstone. Akins comes off his left foot, looking to take the line on. The tackle from Thompson in the end was a good one. Helped out by Brown. That'll be the last one for Featherstone. Jones stabs the kick in. That's knocked on by York, and it's into the arms of Lacans. Lacans is going to go close to scoring here. He doesn't. He's rounded up a metre short, but the tackle count restarts. Fantastic opportunity for Featherstone here. Can they convert it into points? Lockwood pokes his nose through the line, takes the tackle 5 metres out. They've got options both sides of the ruck here. Slow play the ball. Jones scampers out of dummy half himself. He's got to the line there, Connor Jones, but he's lost the ball. The Featherstone fans behind the sticks rejoiced. They thought he'd got the ball down. The referee disagreed. Knock on given against Connor Jones. And for the time being, York remain in touching distance. There's 6 minutes to go. It still remains York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 18. The game of inches, that try, that would-be try to Connor Jones would have sealed the game. As it is, York back on the attack now through Pratt up to the 40. York still inside their own half. Daly out of dummy half, just takes the tackle up and over the halfway line. Been excellent, Josh Daly for York, playing in a couple of different positions in this game. Michael, short pass for Fitzsimons. Fitzsimons stands in the tackle 40 metres from the Featherstone line. Hingano gives the pass out wide to Brown. Brown wrapped up there, well read, off his wing came Luke Briscoe. Tatai gives it to Michael. Crabs across field and goes down in the challenge of John Davis. That'll be the last one for York. It's now or never for York, you imagine, in this game, as the kick comes from Cunningham. Gale under pressure takes it really well and did really well to keep his foot on the try line. That'll be a 20-metre tap. And York now, was that the chance that's gone? Is time going to run out for them as Featherstone come forward in the shape of Luke Briscoe? Gale now, 1-2 punch has been so effective this afternoon for Featherstone, up to the halfway line already off the back of the two wingers' carries. Inside the final 5 minutes of this one, Featherstone 10 in front. Springer, route one through the middle of the field. This is what Featherstone have been so good at so far in this game. Wildy on for Lockwood. Lockwood up to the 30 now. Featherstone would love a try here just to put the icing on the cake of what is increasingly looking like another win. As Aikens dummies straight through almost through the line there. Michael just had enough of his shirt to close the door on him. And the quick play of the ball for Jones! No stopping Connor Jones this time. And that's surely the try that wraps up the game for Featherstone Rovers. Aikens went very close on the previous play. Connor Jones, as we often see, a live wire out of dummy half, who's had a massive impact on this game in the second half. He went very, very close a couple of minutes ago, denied by the referee. This time there was no stopping him as he just scampered straight out of dummy half, grounds the ball to the left-hand side of the post. And with 3.5 minutes to go, Featherstone have this game wrapped up now. It's York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 22. Connor Jones, interestingly, not used at all until about 10 minutes into the second half. But you can see why Sean Long left that amount of time before bringing him on. Has had a huge, huge impact. Really sped up the ruck, been really dangerous. Put John Davis through the middle of the field for what eventuated in a Mark Corrala try. And then, with just minutes to go in this game, his trademark run from dummy half, the markers were on the floor, the defence was slow to react, and he just darted straight between the York defenders to score the try. And has wrapped the game up. A hard-fought but well-deserved win it will be for Featherstone Rovers. It's Corrala now. About 5 metres in from the left-hand side of the posts. Guides the ball between the sticks, 4 from 5 this afternoon from Mark Corrala. Takes the score now to York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 24. And we've got just over 2 minutes of the game remaining. And York cut a dejected figures now across the field. They know that the game is gone. It's been an extremely tough physical encounter as they go for the short kickoff. Taken on the bounce there by Leilu, juggling act, keeps hold of it, fends away from Michael. Michael, very groggy after taking that fend, just retreats out to the wing here. It's Briscoe up to the 40 metre line, I beg your pardon, on Featherstone's side of halfway. Jones, the most recent try scorer, looking for more metres through the middle of the field and gets up to the halfway line. Inside the final 2 minutes here in York. Davis now for Jones. Jones gives it to Gale. Gale rumbling forward. Good set after points once again here from Featherstone. He's going close to the touchline there, Gale. In fact, he's gone into touch and put the mocker on him. He was held up. A good strong challenge from 3 York defenders who came with the cavalry and put him over the touchline. But with barely 90 seconds of the game remaining, the contest is well and truly over here. Featherstone will get their 3rd win of the season against York and will retain a commanding lead at the top of the Betfred Championship with another win here this afternoon. Just 1 loss in the league so far this season. And I've had to work very, very hard for this one. But a well-deserved win it is going to be in the end as York come forward. Fitzsimons, Hangano clattered. Ball comes out the back to Brown. 6 again, but Featherstone still hitting as hard as they were in the first minute as they are in the 80th. And that's ultimately been one of the key reasons why they've come out on the right. They're going to come out on the right end of the scoreline here as they make another mistake. York. Their error count has been alarming in this second half. It'll certainly be something that Andrew Henderson will be keen to address moving forward. Featherstone have simply handled the wet conditions a little bit better in this second half. Been patient, composed. They've rarely overplayed their hand. And in the end have closed out this win as we're inside the final 10 seconds here. We'll shortly hear the siren. The scrum win. This will be the last play of the game. Hingano gives it on to Brown. Brown skips away from Lacans. Lacans, he loses the ball into the arms of Lacans and that'll be a double knock on. The Featherstone fans not happy. They thought Lacans was away for the try as the siren sounds in the background, which brings an end to the action here at the LNER Community Stadium. As we said, it was an extremely tough battle between these two committed sides. Featherstone led by just the 2 points at half-time, thanks to 2 tries in the first half from Joey Leilua. But then Featherstone had to be patient. They came out of the blocks well in the second half. As the rain came pouring down, they made very few errors in comparison to York. Mark Corrala adding a penalty and then a converted try, which put Featherstone out to a 10-point advantage heading into the final quarter. And they had to work really hard to close out the game, but in the end their patience showed, with Connor Jones darting over 4 minutes from time for a converted try, which leads the full-time score here at the LNER Community Stadium. It's finished. York City Knights 8, Featherstone Rovers 24. And another fantastic and well-deserved win for Featherstone Rovers. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good afternoon. We're joined at full-time here at York by victorious Junior Moores. Junior, really tough game. That one had to work really hard for it, but ultimately the boys dug in for a really good result.
Yeah, tough game. We expected one. They were sitting at a point of the season that they needed to win this game. So, we expected a tough game and we got it.
Really close at half-time. You had to battle back from going down early. What was Sean Long's message to the boys at half-time?
Just complete. Try and get the ball. They had all the possession in the first half, and we got a fair share of the ball in the second half, and we come away with the win.
Talk about completions. Obviously, storms and really heavy rain in the second half, which changed the dynamic of the game. Do you think it was your side's ability to retain possession that got you over the line in the end?
Yeah, it was all right. It was good for me. It was a bit hot in that first half, and it changed the game. Everyone just had to complete, and we did that in the second half, and I thought we did really well.
And yourself back in the side this afternoon. Great to be back out there and competing as you normally do.
Yeah, it's good. Just want to get on the field, and it's good to get on the field this week and get in with the boys. And just lastly, I suppose if you were to look at parts of your performance that you'd like to improve moving forward as a team, what do you think the focus will be on heading into next week? I think completions. We gave over the ball a bit too easily in that first half, and any team's going to punish us if we keep doing that. So it's about retaining the ball, completing, and I think we'll go well. We're joined here by Featherstone Rovers dummy half Connor Jones. Connor, really tough outing there against York, but ultimately coming up with a good performance and a really important result.
Yeah, pretty pleased with the win there. It was obviously a tough game, tough conditions in the second half. I didn't see that coming, but yeah, there's plenty to work on, but we're getting there. We're getting better and better every week, so I'll take that win any day of the week.
You mentioned the conditions there. How did that change the dynamic in the second half? Did you have to adapt the way that you played the game?
Yeah, just more emphasis on holding the ball really, and just our basics, playing the ball properly and kind of just holding it into contact. We still kind of like to play our game and still play our shapes and stuff, but yeah, more emphasis on holding the ball, which we spoke about, with that tight game just in front. So we need to complete our sets, and we did that most of the part of that second half.
What was the most pleasing aspect of the performance, do you think, from a team perspective?
Probably our defence today. I mean, we conceded those 2 early tries, an intercept and a kick, but we didn't get broken down by any shapes or anything like that. So our defence was pretty good today. Obviously still stuff to work on, but yeah, probably our defence today, I think. The testament to the calibre and the character in the squad after losing 2 players to serious-looking injuries. The boys really dug in there. Yeah, some of our middles had to do big stints, and I thought they were outstanding. So, especially in that first half when it was red hot, so I think it was a good test for us today, and when we come up trumps. And yourself coming off the bench in the second half, having an immediate impact, setting up a try and scoring one yourself. Were you happy with your own performance? Yeah, pretty happy. There's obviously still stuff to work on, and I think my decision making and stuff like that, but my role at the moment is just to give the boys a bit of energy, and I feel like I'm doing that at the moment. Tough win on the road against York. Can you give us your assessment on your side's performance this afternoon?
Courageous, outstanding, working hard for one another. To go down to, we lost Bussy, we lost Josh, we lost Brad Day. We're down to bare bones, and the lads playing out of position, and we just kept finding a way to keep turning them away. They scored a try from an interception and a kick first half, and we said before the game we had to play for 80 minutes, and we certainly had to do that. York are a good team. They've got some really classy players, and we did well to keep it to 0 in the second half.
How pleasing was it to see the result from your middles, having players having to play longer minutes as a result of losing those players, but never looked like buckling in the second half, despite York having plenty of ball?
Oh, I just said so. I'm so proud of them. Like the middles, because they had to do all the defending on that try line. They kept turning them away. They had 3 sets on our try line. We kept turning them away, and then we go up the other end of the field and score. And it just shows how tight knit we are as a group. and you know, they're working hard for one another. So I can't ask for much more than that. So I'm like, I think it's one of our probably best performances at year.
Huge downpour at half time going into the second half, changed the dynamic of the game a little bit. What was your message to the players at half time?
Keep it simple, lots of drops of angles, you know, play through them, play the conditions and show the workload, you know, because our middles actually do a lot of defending. So we were saying, like, our backs get in and, you know, show the workload and take some carries. Just give our middles a bit of a breather, and I thought we did that. We completed our first 6 sets at second half. Had a bit of a blip, but that happens. We're league in it, and we come through the other end.
Just a word on your outside backs. Gareth Gale and Luke Briscoe in particular worked extremely hard out of backfield and seemed to make a real difference.
Yeah, they've been outstanding all year. You know what I mean? They get us on front foot. You know, Mark Corello was catching the ball and racing 40 metres straight back at them. BGA, I only planned on playing him 60, if I'm being honest. But you know, he toughed it out. Played full 80 minutes and coming up with two special moments, or 2 special key moments in that game.
You waited until the second half to bring Connor Jones into the game, but seemed to have an immediate impact. Just give us your assessment of his performance as well.
Outstanding. It always is Jones. You know, whether I bring him on just before half time and they're tired, or I'll put him on in second half, he sparks us up. And when the ruck gets quick and JD's on the front foot and Junior's carrying like he is, he starts flooding in the middle. You know, he's unfortunate not to score. You know, he cut a couple of little cracks at it, but you know, I couldn't make the change. I was trying to make the change before half time, but with the injuries, I could only put him on in the second half.
What seemed to be the problems with Jack, Josh, and did you say Brad Day as well?
Yeah, it's obviously, I think Busty's gone to hospital. We'll find out more on that. Whether he's broke his leg, I'm not sure. Josh is twisted his knee, so again he'll have to go for a scan. And I think it's Brad Day's ankle. He's a bit sore, so we battled hard today. You know, we battled hard to get through that game. So yeah, we go.
I believe you got 8 points clear at the top of the championship after this afternoon's result, but you're always looking for improvements as a coach. What were the things that you want your side to improve on moving forward into next week?
Yeah, improvements is probably a bit more calmness when we get down the other end of the field. I think we looked a bit frantic in the first half. We was like trying to score off every set, and I was like, just calm. Went in at half time, my message was just stay calm. You know, when we get down the other end of the field, we don't have to score. We can just build pressure. You know, make them come off their own try line and let them go 80, 90 metres if they want. But you know, just stay in the long game and play step footy.